This is Mars, a planet that could one day become our second home. Despite its extreme and inhospitable conditions, scientists and engineers are working tirelessly on ways to transform this barren planet into a habitable world. What technologies will open the door to survival on the red planet? Are we on the brink of a new era of space colonization? Let's find out together. Mars is often mentioned as humanity's next home, mainly because it is the most similar to Earth among the planets of the solar system. Although it is much smaller, it has changing seasons, and a day on Mars, called a sol, lasts about as long as a day on Earth. That is approximately 24.5 hours. The surface is also largely accessible. There are not such extreme temperatures and pressures as, for example, on Venus. And perhaps more importantly, on Mars, we find water in the form of ice located beneath the surface and in the form of seasonal polar caps. Future colonies could then obtain drinking water and hydrogen for fuel from here. The race to reach Mars began back in the 1960s, when NASA tried to understand the red planet through the Mariner and Viking probes. Today, we have several rovers on the surface of Mars, such as the American Perseverance or Curiosity, which are collecting valuable data on soil composition and searching for traces of life. In recent years, there is increasing talk about the commercial space sector, which brings companies like SpaceX to the forefront. SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic. They not only take tourists on short trips to the edge of space, but also invest in ambitious projects aimed at the moon, and especially Mars. The company SpaceX, led by visionary Elon Musk, is one of the most prominent players in the race to Mars. Their rocket, Starship, is designed to be reusable, significantly reducing the costs of flights. The goal is to establish a sustainable base on Mars capable of producing its own fuel and basic resources. Musk even talks about plans to send up to 1 million people to Mars within 20 years. He also advocates the idea that it is our moral obligation to create a multiplanetary species to safeguard against a potential global catastrophe on Earth. The Super Heavy rocket achieved a major milestone last fall, when it successfully returned to the launch pad after its 5th test. Despite SpaceX's successes, Musk's vision relies on collaboration with NASA, which provides critical technologies such as nuclear thermal propulsion. This technology would enable significantly faster flights to and from Mars, which is crucial for the safety and efficiency of colonization. Additionally, NASA provides expertise from its Mars research and logistical know-how, which will aid in planning colonies and simulating habitation. This synergy between SpaceX's pioneering approach and NASA's legacy has the potential to rewrite history and turn humanity into a multiplanetary species. Meanwhile, NASA continues its Artemis mission. The goal of the mission is to return to the moon and use it as a springboard for flights to Mars. NASA is also conducting simulations through projects like Mars Dune Alpha, where it tests long-term human habitation in confined conditions. Groups of volunteers spend months together in a special module, simulating communication delays, logistics of supplies, and the psychological burden on crew members. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin focuses on reusable rockets like New Shepard or New Glenn, and future plans include building space stations or a trip to the moon. Bezos even claims that we should mainly keep light industry and housing on Earth and move heavy manufacturing off the planet. However, to live on the red planet, we must overcome many challenges. Mars has a very weak magnetic field, which means its atmosphere has been gradually stripped away by solar winds over billions of years. As a result, the air is extremely thin and consists primarily of carbon dioxide. It is therefore uninhabitable for humans, and for us to survive on Mars at all. We will need enclosed habitats and spacesuits for moving outside. Another obstacle is the low gravity, which on this planet is roughly 1/3 compared to Earth. Long-term stay in such low gravity can negatively affect the human body. Future colonies will therefore need special exercise programs, or even artificial gravity to keep astronauts healthy. The planet's weak magnetic field also means weak protection from cosmic radiation. Therefore, the construction of colonies partially underground is being considered, where the soil will provide a natural shield. There can also be major problems with resources and supplies. Each expedition will have to make maximum use of local resources, not just water, but also the soil of Mars as building material. Drones and rovers could mine the atmosphere in advance, convert it into oxygen and hydrogen, and prepare supplies for the crew's arrival. There is also the possibility of 3D printing living modules from Martian soil to minimize the amount of cargo brought from Earth. Future Martian colonies will be entirely dependent on a reliable energy source. Solar panels can indeed provide electrical energy, but Mars is farther from the sun. Additionally, sunlight can be blocked by dust storms, which aren't uncommon on Mars. Therefore, small nuclear reactors are also being considered. This is something the Kilopow project, for instance, is dealing with. Or even the use of nuclear fusion, if it can be practically mastered on Earth and subsequently on Mars. You may have already heard the term terraforming in connection with the colonization of Mars. This is a set of hypothetical processes. Their goal would be to transform the inhospitable environment of the red planet, enough for people to move and live on its surface without spacesuits. Key parameters for such a transformation would include increasing the temperature, thickening the atmosphere, and building protection against cosmic radiation. Both on Earth and on Mars, the capture of heat using greenhouse gases should play a crucial role. The same principle that helps us maintain thermal balance here, but also causes global warming, could help initiate the warming process on Mars and melt ice reserves, releasing both carbon dioxide and water into the atmosphere. New research published in the journal Science Advances proposes using tiny particles made from materials present in Martian surface dust. These could hypothetically capture heat and raise the planet's temperature by more than 10 degrees Celsius within several months. This increase would be enough to maintain liquid water, although it would be necessary to produce approximately 2 million tons of these particles annually. Their raw materials like iron and aluminum are abundant directly on Mars. However, increasing the temperature on Mars represents only the first step in improving its habitability. And what might such a first colony on Mars look like? Imagine a group of connected modules or inflatable tunnels made from durable nanomaterials, which reliably protect against radiation and extreme temperatures. This base could be located near one of Mars' poles due to easier access to ice. The interior spaces would be pressurized with established air circulation, water tanks, and laboratories for food cultivation. Habitable domes could be printed directly from rock on Mars. SpaceX, NASA, and other researchers are already addressing how local materials like rocks, ice, and possibly carbon dioxide from the atmosphere could be used. Ambitious timelines vary, but most experts agree that a manned landing on Mars could take place in the next 2 decades. The key is to address not only technological, but also biological and financial challenges. Future colonies will rely heavily on regular supplies from their home planet for a long time. Any mistake in the transportation of supplies or a failure in the logistical chain could have fatal consequences for the lives of the colonists and the sustainability of the entire mission. The progress we see today in rocket systems, advanced robotics, artificial intelligence, and materials engineering is undeniable. All of this is bringing us closer to the red planet than ever before. It's likely that we will see the first humans on Mars within our lifetime. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And let us know in the comments if you would sign up for a program to colonize the red planet. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you soon in the next episode.